Hello and welcome back to the next video, P5 Live walkthrough, this time getting into import, export, and sharing of our sketches from this environment. So let's review a couple of the things that we got into the other videos, but in more depth. To back up everything, this is the most important. I just repeat because again, all of our sketches, everything are only living in local storage for this particular browser and for this particular domain. When we switch to offline mode later, we'll need a way to bring all of our sketches over there because the browser doesn't know about our sketches on another domain. So the easiest way to move from one browser to another is to simply do a backup now. And this grabs both our settings and all of our sketches, and then it's ready to bring into another environment. So I look at my downloads. This is a P5 Live backup from just now. And I could switch into another browser. Here I have a started up version of P5 Live that is empty, and I can simply bring this file into there. It says you have a backup. Do you want to import settings and sketches? I say yes, please. Yes. And now I have a copy. It's asking to use my microphone because this one is audio reactive. And now we're doing the exact same thing inside of another browser. We can even see it's still running in the background because I've disabled echo mode just to make sure the sketches are still running in my main window while I switch between programs. But again, so this backup now is the best way to move between browsers from online, offline, and just to make sure you have a copy of everything every once in a while so that you don't lose any data. You can have this automatically happen. If it's in the offline version, it'll go into a nice folder within P5 Live. If you are using the online version, then it will just go into your downloads folder. But they'll be easy to find because they all have this prefix P5L backup. For exporting sketches, we looked at this on the sketches menu. Most important is saying export all sketches is similar to a backup but without the settings file. And we can always bring these back in if something happened. I can drag and drop, and skipping duplicates is important in case there was something that was unique. So maybe I just quickly demonstrate that if I somehow fell out of sync, I'll make a new sketch and say, this was missing, and I'll export all my sketches. I'll trash that file. Oh, before I do it, let's give it a unique name. Let's call it last minute sketch. Export everything and then trash this sketch just so we can see what happens when we want to import that sketch that was missing. We can see, hey, there's one that's not a duplicate, and I'll skip the duplicates, click OK, and now I just get that one sketch back. So this can be a nice way just to make sure your online, offline are staying in sync. Okay, that was just a demo. We can really get rid of it this time. The next way that we can export things is again per sketch. You can just go over the sketches contextual menu and say export that single sketch. If we had a folder of sketches, then we can say testing. We could always go over that folder and export it if there were sketches in there. I'll trash it. I don't need it. It throws it away without asking if it's empty, just in case you accidentally press that button. Yep, so we can import things by clicking this button if we want to use the interface. We can go find the sketches. Again, there's that sketch that really wants to join our P5 Live. We can also just drag and drop into the window. We export all our sketches. We do this. I covered all of that. In the very top, in the export, this is sort of a mixture of saving and sharing our code. This snapshot we covered before, this basically takes a picture of our code, of our visual, what we see at that very moment. So let's take a picture right now. And it saves our code ready to import at that same time. So I'll open up this file and bring it over, and you'll see this unique aspect that this is a transparent picture. we can see through it, even though we see a background. Again, this is this unique aspect of P5 Live, that it's using the background, it's setting the background of P5 Live to whatever the last background was that it had. And that background is based on the first one that it finds. So I could say background 0. Let's type this correct. And now if I saved a snapshot, let's use the shortcut Control S. I'll get a similar but different. Now it has a background on the image. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's really nice to export these with a transparent background, so you could do compositions of the images later. If I disable this, even though I see a black background, I have to press save another snapshot. Once again, now it doesn't have the background. We see it in our browser for smoothness, but it won't be there. Clicking this export link immediately copies the whole code as a URL hash so that you can share it with someone else, or you could just move it to another browser without having to export and import. So I can go back to Firefox, back to p5live.org, and I could paste this into the browser. Actually, didn't even need to go to P5 Live. Let's leave the page for a second, make a new window, and simply paste that URL. And what it does is it creates a brand new sketch with whatever was happening, whatever was encoded in the URL. This is something I've borrowed from Hydra. Thank you, Hydra editor Olivia Jack, for giving me the idea to add that as a really nice, quick way to share a sketch from just a URL. And last but not least is export HTML. So if we click this, let's go to just our pencil shaving sketch, just to have something a bit simpler happening without necessary assets. If I press export HTML, it just downloaded a one-page HTML file with the name of our sketch. It was compiled with P5 Live. It sets the canvas to be full screen fixed. We have somehow stopped seeing a video update, but I guess that's because we left Chrome, so I'm frozen. It sets it by default to be in the back of your page, so you could put things on top of it. It's full screen. If we leave the window, it'll pause itself, which is helpful to keep from wasting any resources on their computer. It's loading P5.js minimum from CDN, so it doesn't need to have the file, it's loading it online. The same with the sound. And then we have a couple functions that are part of P5 Live that if you resize the window, it resizes the sketch. There's a built-in easing function, and then we have our actual sketch. So if I disable the sound library and save, I can technically just drag and drop this into the browser, and I'm loading it just by clicking and going offline. What could be nicer is to quickly upload the page somewhere. So I could go to glitch.com. I could create a brand new project, just a hello website. Let's see, there we go. We got our video going again. I started a brand new project inside of glitch.com, a great place to just host a static website, share with the world. I can call this, with the name is probably not available, but let's call it pencil shaving. It's available, that's now ours. And I can drag and drop that file into the side. I should get rid of the existing index.html. Let's delete that. And just rename this sketch to index.html. So it's the first thing that loads. And there we go. It's already working. And I could share in a new window, pencilshaving.glitch.me. And this is now a website that's live and online. That took just a few seconds. Again, saying export an HTML single file, editing it real quick. I only disabled let's go back real quick. I turned off the sound library if I wanted to drag and drop it into the browser, but I could leave it on if I had audio reactive things. And then I'm ready to start making my actual page. You can start putting divs, whatever. This is just ready to sort of copy and paste a bit and introduce into a new website or build a website on top of pencilshaving.glitch.me.